Loneliness is the price of greatness. Simply put, there is no way to get around this. If you want to write a story that has never been written before, one where the pen you are using is dripping with your blood, your essence, untainted by the culture at large, then you are going to be alone. Now, of course, you're going to be around people. You have friends, you have family, you have coworkers. You interact with strangers. You bump into them when you're going to grab coffee, when you're going to use the public restroom. But these people will never understand you. They will never get inside of you. They will never feel what it means to be you, because they are fulfilling the roles set before them by society, by the culture, by the structures that make up the world around you. And they cannot conceive of why anyone would do anything else. They cannot imagine why an individual like yourself would step out onto the water and attempt to walk, because they look at the water and they see Jesus reaching his hand out saying, "Walk to me. You can do it. It's perfectly fine. Simply believe." And they think, hell fucking no. I'm not walking on that water. I'm gonna drown. And so what do? They stay on the ship. Matter of fact, they stay at the port. They stay on the ship at the port. Or they stay on the beach. Or for most people, they stay in the cabana that isn't even on the beach. They stay at the house that's inland 5 miles. They never even get close to the shore, let alone look at the shore, let alone look at the water, let alone look at Christ and say, you know what, maybe I can do it. They are so far removed, because it's not that they are super excited about being businessmen or girl bosses or influencers or athletes, dope dealers, pushers, kingpins. It's not that they're super excited about being pastors or community workers or daycare assistants. It's that they're far more terrified of having to step outside the roles that society has laid before them and say, what do I really want? What really calls to me? What really lights a fire within my soul? What puts goosebumps on my hands? For me, whenever I listen to music, whenever I read books on psychology, on human nature, on religion, on politics, whenever I make content, whenever I'm playing basketball, whenever I'm playing chess, whenever I'm walking around this great city, running this great city, interacting with fine folks, talking about ideas that are super stimulating to my brain, that gives me chills, that gives me goosebumps. That's how I know I'm doing what I need to do, creating my own archetype, being the father of myself. But 99.99999% of people are unwilling to do this, because it's nearly impossible to pull off. Because when you pursue greatness, you're not pursuing a big bank balance. You're not pursuing a ridiculous athletic frame. You're not pursuing any of the worldly goods, a roster of women, a list of conquests, places you've traveled to, high-profile people that you can call up on speed dial. You're not pursuing that. You are creating a world where your presence is objectively accepted by the universe. You are justifying your own heroism. And yes, part of that is going to be in how much money you make, the business you build, the body you build, the people you know, interact with, the stories you can tell, the things you get good at, the things you accomplish. But more than anything, it's the fundamental essence that connects the accomplishments and the money and the people you know and the places you go. It's this fundamental feeling, this life force. What does that smell like? What does that taste like? What does that impart on somebody else? If I were to slap it onto a wall without knowing what color it was, if I were to slap it onto a wall and when it hit the wall, assuming this was paint, and it were to paint a picture, automatically it would just pop up onto the wall if I just threw it onto it, like Cat in the Hat, what would it look like? That is the greatness you're pursuing. And to justify your own heroism is incredibly difficult because you have to play God. You have to be little g God, not big G God. You're not big G God. I'm not big G God. Never will be. But I can be little g God. I can be little g God. I can create my own values. I can create my own meaning. I can step outside the structures. I can become my own archetype instead of fitting in the 2K archetypes, sharpshooter, slasher, big man. I can create my own archetype. I can be my own man. I can be the father of myself. I can pursue my greatness by creating things that are objectively accepted by the universe as holy, divine, something that transcends the flesh, the bone, the skin that is so vile and nasty, the creaturousness that I am subjected to, that you are subjected to, that we all are. So if you want to pursue greatness, you're going to be really alone because everybody around you is not going to understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you're waking up at odd hours, why you're working so hard, why you're talking to new people, why you're focusing on your diets, why you're starting 2-3 side hustles at the same time, why you've cut off relations with certain people, why you're no longer drinking, why you're no longer smoking. They're going to wonder why you're doing these things because they cannot conceive of any possible reason why an individual would step outside the roles that society has given them. There's no point. Why wouldn't I just play a role? Why wouldn't I just be a teacher or a cop or a firefighter? It's so easy that way, except that it isn't, because what they haven't realized is that all they're doing is delaying the inevitable. They will hit the deathbed, and their deathbed, the scene that everyone will have to see, assuming there will be a lot of people there, which probably won't be the case, is going to be so sad and pitiful, except that they won't even know it because their deathbed scene will be just as pitiful. Don't let that happen to you. Pursue your greatness and do it without shame. Do it unabashedly. Do it because you can't help yourself, because you're obsessed with it. Not obsessed in the sense that you're fixated on it 24/7, fixated with the conscious mind, but rather obsessed with it in spirit, obsessed with it in soul, obsessed with it in the sense that you get lost in the present moment. And then when you reflect, you get lost in that reflection. You're always thinking but not thinking. It's the contradiction, it's the paradox that drives all life. Pursue your greatness. Understand that nobody's gonna get it and nobody fucking should. And if they're pursuing that greatness, you may get it to a certain degree, 5, 10, 15, 20%, but you're not even gonna get 100% because you can't get all the way within them. And that's great. Keep them around, because if you find one of those people, don't lose them. You're gonna want them in your circle. Hard to find. Only a handful of them on planet Earth. 8 billion people. Needle in a haystack, right? But yeah, pursue your greatness without any shame, without any context, without any apologies, without any explanation. It's for you and you alone. Because you are the universe and you must please yourself. Don't take that the wrong way. But in any case, I'm going inside. It's getting late. I'll see you in the next video. Much love, peace, New Da Vinci out.